What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee&Toys here. I just wanted to first, before we get into this video today, that you guys really like these top 10 lists. So I like making them and I love seeing your guys' top 10 lists. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video and watching all my videos. So let's just dive right into it. Today is going to be the top 10 vehicles that I would like to see made in the classified series. Now, we're going to do some housekeeping before we dive into this list. First, these are all going to be vehicles that I feel can be made without use of HasLab. So they are going to be smaller vehicles. There's going to be no ginormous vehicles on this list, so I don't want to disappoint people when they start hearing me say, like, where's the Sky Striker? Where's the Flag? Where's the Terrordrome? You're not going to get those on this list. This is my list. These are things I feel can be made without the need of a HasLab. Second point of this video is I'm not going really with any overly obvious choices that are going to be made. For example, you're not going to see the Stinger on this list because it's almost a guaranteed fact that having the Vamp with Clutch coming out very soon, that they will re-release that as the Cobra Stinger. So you will not see something like that in this list. Any other vehicles that have previously been made that can be redecoed, not going to be in this list, or anything that's currently in the pipeline won't make it into this list. I think actually the Vamp's the only one I'm guaranteed. There is one on this list that's been hinted at, but since it hasn't been officially revealed, it is on the list. So think about what that one may be. It will show up in the list. And finally, yeah, again, this is my list. It's what I think, what I want to see in a smaller size vehicle format. So please join along, play the game, leave your list down in the comments, and we'll see how much of your list matches up with mine. You guys can argue with me on why I shouldn't have some of these on the list. Final, I guess the only other housekeeping thing is these are all older vehicles. I don't think any of them go past like 87 or 88. It's a lot of early vehicle stuff because the vehicles were smaller in the beginning, and as the line gained more success, obviously in a Real American Hero, the vehicles got larger and larger and larger, so you won't see a lot of vehicles, definitely not past 87, I think 86 maybe. I don't know. This list will stay in the early 80s, early to mid 80s. So if you guys are like a big fan and think Dark Lawn's Evader is going to be on here, I'd hate to disappoint you. It's not going to be on this list. Or the whatever else. I can't even think. No Night Force on here, so because that's all repaint stuff anyway. And again, that's another line I love, is Night Force. No Ninja Cycles, no nothing like that. But that being said, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, set the bell to all notifications, and comment with your list, because we are going to jump into it right now with my top 10 classified series vehicles I would like to see made. Here we go. Okay, let's start this list off. Number 10. Number 10 belongs to the G.I. Joe HAL, the Heavy Artillery Laser. And what is G.I. Joe without lasers? I've got to tell you. And again, an original toy from the original 1982 lineup. I think it's an obvious choice. You make this and you package it with Grand Slam. You get a 2-for-1. You get your vehicle, you get your figure. We get Grand Slam to help round out our OG-13. Do him in silver, do him in red, I don't care. I just want to have Grand Slam, and when I have Grand Slam, I think of the HAL, and I want the HAL and Grand Slam together, and they are number 10 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles I would like to see made. Alrighty, we are stepping into number 9 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles I would like to see made for the line. Make sure you drop your list down in the comments down below. Now, number 9, I alluded to it earlier in the video. Number 9 is one that is strongly hinted at being made. And yes, that is the Cobra Fair ATV. We have recently seen that pop up with the in the background of the Clutch with the Vamp and Clutch vehicle pack. And I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. It's a nice small vehicle ATV, very easy for them to make. I can't really think of a figure I would include in it, but we do see on that Vamp artwork that we do see some sort of person driving it with a motorcycle helmet of some, or an ATV helmet of some sort. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a new Cobra out of this. I think that would be really cool. Make the ferret, because we always think of the ferret Characters always pop up when I think of the Ferret. Tomax and Zaymont, we've already got them. And then the original box art, which I believe was Storm Shadow and Firefly, which we already have them. So it'd be really cool to get the Ferret with a new Cobra character. I like when new characters are introduced in the line, and I think having an off-road Cobra that knows how to operate the Ferret would be really cool. But number 9 belongs to the Cobra Fair ATV. Alrighty, we have made it to number 8 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe classified vehicles that I would like to see made in the line. This one it's a vehicle, but it's a little bit more than that. It pushes the line of vehicle boundaries, at least in my mind, but it was considered a vehicle, and that is the Snake Armor. That's right, folks. I always thought the Snake Armor was cool. You can re-release that thing over and over and over again if Hasbro would choose to do that. Give us some generic Cobra Trooper to throw inside of it, paint him in a new deco, or make him close to matching off with whatever version of the armor you want to do. I know they've done the armor in the classic white. They did it in blue after that. I know sometime in the modern era they did the Snake Armor in black. So full range to do this Snake Armor in any sort of color palette Hasbro would want to do, and give us an associated trooper with it to go inside that armor. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You can re-release that 2 or 3 times and people are going to pick it up, especially if you're swapping out the color palette of the trooper or whatever figure comes with it every time. Great thing. I think it's a no-brainer idea for Hasbro to do this. So Hasbro, get on that right now if you haven't already. Number 8 belongs to Cobra Snake Armor. We have hit number 7 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles that I would like to see made. What would you like to see made? Is our list matching up at all right now? Is something on my list that's not on yours or vice versa? Make sure you drop a comment with your list. And make sure you put them in order. I want to know not just 10 random vehicles. Put them in order from, the least to the one you just have to have. Because that's what I did with my list. I love my list. I'm sticking to it. But I always like to see what you guys write. And I try to respond to all the comments. So drop me the list. I want to read it. But number 7, we are going back to the G.I. Joes. And we are going to our first submersible vehicle in the lineup. That's right. We are going to the G.I. Joe Shark. And of course, the Shark is iconic. It's always in the cartoon series. It could fly in the air. It could go in the water. And of course, with the Shark, you have to have a driver. And this is where I think we should get Deep Six. Now, I mentioned him in my top 10 figures I would like to see created video. And Deep Six, you could go either way with him. You could give him the bigger, bulkier armor, or, I almost said wetsuit. That's not right. You give him the bulkier body, or you could give him the smaller, sleeker suit, the version 2 Deep Six. And I think that's what I would like to see. And, just modernize it a little bit. But definitely include Deep Six with the Shark. We need someone to pilot the Shark, and of course I think Deep Six is the Joe for the job, and that is why he is coming in at number 7, the Shark with Deep Six. Alrighty, we have made it to number 6 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles that I would like to see made for the line, and we're sticking with G.I. Joe this time, and this one was interesting because it fell right in the middle of this, obviously being number 6. It was right there in the middle, and I want to see this vehicle, but much like when it first came out in 80, was this an 82? Yeah, this was an 82 vehicle. The G.I. Joe flat cannon. Gotta have the flat cannon, but the problem is the flat cannon never came with an operative. No one to man it. I think Rock and Roll might have been on the box art, or I think it was Rock and Roll. I'm not 100% sure. But I can't think of a character that I would want to include with the flat cannon, because I feel like when they do these vehicle packs, they try to give us a separate character to go along with it, and for the life of me, I cannot think of a character that they could throw in. Now, obviously, you could pick any OG-13 that hasn't already been made and package them with it, and we'd be good. You could throw Steeler in there for all I care, and as long as you threw someone in there that would help round out that OG-13 line, that would be wonderful. I mean, I don't think we're going to get like the Mobat, so Steeler is kind of the first person that pops in my mind that would go well with the flat cannon, in my opinion. But yeah, I love the flat cannon as a kid. It was just a fun little playset to have, vehicle to have, and it would be small enough to make in a package, throw it in a figure, put it at a $50 price point, and let's call it good. $25 for the figure, $25 for the cannon. And yeah, I think that's what it is. This one was a little hard for me. I'm not going to lie. Just trying to figure out not the vehicle per se, but someone to man it, to operate it. But yeah, number 6 belongs to the G.I. Joe flat cannon with Mystery Included Joe. Okay, got to take a coffee break because we have hit the halfway mark of this top 10 classified series vehicles that I, Mark from Coffee and Toys, would like to see made. And you have your top 10 list put together, right? Do you? Because if you don't, you need to put it, or if you do, you need to put it in there. And if you don't, you need to write it down. Marinate on it for a little bit. Don't have to take a day. Don't even have to take a couple hours. Just write it down. Go get your coffee. Watch a football game. Play a video game. Read a book. And then come back and look at your list and decide if that's what you want and put it in the comments down below. But like I said, we have hit the halfway mark and we are sticking with, I have to look at my list because I don't even actually know if we're sticking with G.I. Joe. We are sticking with G.I. Joe. I thought we were, and I had to actually check my list to make sure I was on point. But number 5, of course, is the Skyhawk, another iconic vehicle from the G.I. Joe series, especially the cartoon. And I don't know very many of my friends and collectors who don't own a Skyhawk. Some version. That thing's been released, re-released, re-released, re-released. Because it's a great vehicle. It's a smaller size vehicle. Obviously, it has that re-release potential. You could do the Sky Patrol version, and I can't think of what it was called. You can do the regular release version. I believe there was another one in there somewhere. Or heck, I don't care. Paint it black, throw it in Night Force. Paint it Tiger Force color and throw it in Tiger Force. I don't care. But the same thing holds true for the Skyhawk. We saw so many G.I. Joe characters in the cartoon series especially that flew these vehicles, but the Skyhawk never, to my knowledge, came with a figure. I know the original one didn't, and I'm trying to think back in my mind from when it was released in the modern era, if it came with somebody to fly it then, and I think it did, but I can't picture it. But I mean, that's the great thing about this is for the Joe side, you can put almost any character in there and it's going to fit. They probably flew it in the comics or the cartoon. And it's just easy. I would say General Hawk, but we're already getting General Hawk as a singles figure. But again, it's another great place to slide a figure in anywhere from 82 to 87. You could slot just about anybody in there from the Joe team that hasn't been created, and they would fit perfectly because everybody flew a Skyhawk in the cartoon show. Same for the Shark. Same for Sky Strikers. But that being said, number 5. That spot is held exclusively for the G.I. Joe Skyhawk. We've made it to number 4 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe classified series vehicles that I want to see made. And again, thank you for watching these videos. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe down below, and definitely drop me a comment. But yeah, now we're getting into the good stuff. This is the good stuff. These are the ones that, like, if I saw these on the store shelves right now, I would just be grabbing them because yeah, we're getting dangerously close to that top 3. But this one I really like too, and man, I had a hard time between. This one got booted out ever so slightly from my top 3, but man, I do like this one a lot. So I'll just come out and say it. Number 4 belongs to the Cobra Firebat, and with that Firebat, of course, you would include AVAC. You got to have AVAC if you got the Firebat. But yeah, the Firebat is special to me because I got my Terrordrome. Story time, by the way. I got my Terrordrome. My mom was at I remember this so clearly. My mom was at a estate sale in our hometown. And I can't remember if she called me or not. I don't think she called me. I think she actually came home because this is way before cell phones. Unless she used their landline. But I remember her asking me saying, Mark, they have this big toy. It looks like a G.I. Joe base. And it has an airplane. That's what she told me. And I said, oh, absolutely. Whatever it is, get it. And she got me the Terrordrome with AVAC and the Firebat for $20. I mean, you guys remember that thing was like new, was around $100. I think it was between 80 and 120, depending on where you bought it. And she got me a used Terrordrome with the Firebat, with AVAC for $20. And I played all the time with that thing. Unfortunately for everything, the elements claimed my terror drone because I left it outside in my brother's play area, and just the elements, rain, snow, sleet, everything just destroyed it. By the end, it was just a plastic shell and it wasn't even complete when I owned it. I mean, but I didn't care. I was a kid. But I remember that Firebat, and I loved it. And I have a terror drone now with AVAC, with the Firebat, sitting down on the floor beside me as a coffee table. But yeah, the Firebat is always going to be near and true to my heart. It's another small vehicle that can come with a Cobra vehicle pilot. And yeah, number 4 belongs to the Cobra Firebat. All right, we're in the top 3. These are the ones I really want to see in classified series. So we're sticking with Cobra, and I feel like there's a really, really, really good chance we're going to get this one. Basically because of the HasLab HISS tank. And with this one, number 3 belongs to the Cobra ASP. The Cobra ASP is such a fun vehicle because you can set it down like a turret, you can stand it up on end and have it like a gunner's position behind this shield. And it's just a cool vehicle all over. I always thought it was a cool vehicle. I didn't have it as a kid, but whenever I had it as an adult, I thought it was so cool. I'm like, this thing, with the tripod or the whatever it was, the base that could sit down, the removable wheels, you could tow it. It just looked cool. And again, this is another one that you can throw any generic trooper in as an accessory to the vehicle, and you're going to sell them like hotcakes. And in addition, you can repaint this thing and sell it in Python Patrol or in a crimson color. Actually, I think it was in the Python Patrol. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that route came out in the late 80s again as Python Patrol. But yeah, the Cobra ASP, that's why it is number 3 on the list. It looks cool. It is cool. Give it a vehicle, repaint it, and re-release it again with another character, and collectors will eat those up like hotcakes. And if we can tow it behind our HISS, even better. So that is why Cobra ASP is in at number 3 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles I want to see. Here we are. 2 remaining. I am sure you folks at home watching this have a good idea what number 1 and number 2 are. Because it's like the 2 most, I won't say the most iconic ones, but I'll give you a hint. Number 1 belongs to this team. So we're at number 2, and number 2 is the G.I. Joe All-Striker. The All-Striker is just another one of those vehicles. If they hadn't already given us the Ram Cycle and they hadn't already given us the Vamp, your brain just kind of says, what else can they give us that's pretty iconic? And the All-Striker would be right up there for a lot of people's list as far as small vehicles go. Yeah, I think the All-Striker would be about the same size as the Vamp, so I don't see Hasbro having any issue making this. Pardon me. But the All-Striker has to come with Crankcase. I think Crankcase is one of those figures. In my mind, he was always an OG. He was like, not an OG Joe, but like just really close to being an OG Joe. I mean, what did it come out in 85? Is that when it came out? The All-Striker? I think it was 85. But anyway, regardless when it came out, it came with Crankcase. Crankcase was a great character to have. I always enjoyed having him. And again, the All-Striker is one of those vehicles that Hasbro can re-release over and over and over again. I mean, we've had it in black, we've had it in tan, we've had it in some other wacky color that I can't think of. Oh, the Eco Striker. That's right, the blue and yellow one. I mean, you can re-release that thing 1,000 times and people are going to buy it. And you can always throw a different G.I. Joe. Again, you can always throw a different G.I. Joe in there and it's going to work just fine. So that is why number 2 belongs to the G.I. Joe All-Striker. All right. Before we get to number 1, I did this in my other videos and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to throw one honorable mention in there because I do want to give you guys the chance to agree or disagree with me on what should be made for a HasLab. So the honorable mention slot in this video is going to be the HasLab, what would you have wanted to see next? We've gotten the Hiss Tank, we've gotten the Dragonfly. What's that next vehicle that you would like to see made in a HasLab? So for me personally, and again, this is my list, so you make sure to leave an honorable mention for HasLab. If you could just have anything in HasLab, don't say flag. Don't say it. It's never going to happen. None of us could afford it anyway. If they gave us a flag, nobody would be able to afford it. It would be a miserable HasLab because nobody would want to pay $1,200 for a flag. That's not true. Some people would. I wouldn't, because it wouldn't be... Where the hell would you put that thing? So if you have the flag anywhere on your list, please just throw it out, because we're not playing that game here. I'm sorry, it's one of those things where it's like, give us a flag. It just drives me crazy. It's not going to happen, especially in a 6-inch figure line. I'm sorry for that rant. But seriously, something you would love to see in a HasLab. Now for me, I know what a lot of you are thinking. You're thinking Sky Striker. No, I would not do the Sky Striker. I would do the G.I. Joe Mobat. That is, in my opinion, on the cover of G.I. Joe Real American Hero #1, the character's jumping off of it. That, to me, is what I want my HasLab to be. I would love that as a HasLab. I would love to have the Mobat, pegs all over it for figures, jump out, working treads, maybe modernize it, not quite the style of tank it was back in the day, maybe modernize it a little bit for the line. But either way, just something that I could just stack Joes on and give it a ton of accessories, give it everything you can possibly give it. And yeah, that's what I think I would like my HasLab to be. So my honorable mention on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles I would like to see made, that spot is being held by the Mobat. All right, folks, we're here. Numero uno on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles that I would like to see made. Have you put your list in the comments yet? Am I lining up at all with your list? Well, I hope we're fairly close. And if we're not, that's fine. Having the same school of thought for everybody is very boring. Makes life very boring. We need dissension. We need different opinions. And that is even included on G.I. Joe toys. But number one, as I mentioned earlier, belongs to this team. Good old Cobra. And this vehicle has been released and re-released and re-released so many times that I think for me personally, I've owned it so many times that this one was number one bar none on my list. I started with number one because I knew nothing was going to change my mind. And that is the Cobra Fang. The Cobra Fang is such an iconic Cobra vehicle. I mean, it arguably could be the Cobra vehicle when you think about it. We've already gotten the Trouble Bubble, so I think for people really, there's probably 3 vehicles that land in that list when people think Cobra vehicles. And that is, of course, the Trouble Bubble, the Fang, and the Claw. And I'm sure some of you have Claw on your list, and I didn't have it on mine, so I'm interested in how many of you folks have Claw on your list, because it just didn't make it on mine. But the Fang, that is our number one. And yeah, everybody had a Fang that I knew of. And the Fang was out just a couple of years ago as a Walmart exclusive in the modern era line of figures. But to have this vehicle, it certainly would be probably the largest of the large vehicles that you could still have in a normal price point. Now, for me, when I think about that is, what would make the Cobra Fang affordable? I don't think you can include a figure in it, unfortunately. I think that would push it past $120. And I'm using, kind of in my mind, I'm using the Vamp as the base. Like, we know a Vamp today with clutch is $100. The Fang, with its helicopter top and being able to hold a figure and kind of the length of it, really might prohibit it from being to include a figure. I think if they wanted to keep it around that $100 price point, you'd have to forego the figure. And I would be okay with that personally. But what about you guys? Would a $100 Fang be worth it if it didn't include a figure? Drop me a comment whenever you're making your top 10 list and posting that. I want to know, if they made a Fang, and the Fang is on your list, 10 through 1, would you want a figure to come with it? And if that figure pushed it over the $100 price point, would you consider it? I'm pretty hard pressed. Maybe 120. Honestly, whenever they announced the Vamp, I thought it was going to be 120, and I was going to be okay with that. And then they announced it for 100. I was like, ooh, that's very surprising. But I think the Fang would just be bigger. And to include a figure, I think would push it probably over that 120 price point. Maybe not by much. Maybe 125. Get a vehicle for 125 for the figure. Man, it'd have to be a cool figure and have to be a troop builder, because I don't think I could buy just one Fang. I think I would want to have like 3. For some reason, that just really seems cool. I think I'd probably have a Fang with Cobra Commander in it. And, I don't know, just throw Destro and Baroness in one. Because I never can remember, there's not really just a regular operative outside of the Cobra Trooper that you ever saw in the cartoon series. Or outside of Cobra Commander, I can't even think of people that I've ever really put in it. I think Cobra Commander always flew a Fang in my when I was playing with my toys when I was a kid. But that is why, that is it. That's why number 1, the Cobra Fang. It would be the coolest thing, and I would buy all of them probably. I probably would not be able to contain myself, because that's, FOMO and all that stuff. I would be like, I've got to have this one. Oh, I've got to have this one. And then I wouldn't know where to put it. But number 1, the Cobra Fang. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love doing these top 10 lists, and thank you to everyone that asked for this list, because it was one that people were just like, you got to do a top 10 list of vehicles. You got to do a top 10 list of vehicles. And I don't know if anybody from Hasbro cares what I think, but you never know. We do these top 10 lists. You put yours down in the comments. You make sure to like the video, and you make sure you subscribe. Who knows? Maybe Hasbro's watching. Maybe they're listening. Maybe they're going to say, oh, you know what? We had 30 likes on this video and 10 comments that said, Cobra Fang's number 1. We've got to make Cobra Fang. We got to bump that up the list and get it made in 2024. Or maybe, people are like, man, nobody cares about a Skyhawk. We're not going to make that thing. It's on nobody's list except this Yahoo's. But real quick, we're going to run through this top 10 list, just get them all out there, and so we can have a recap before we close this video out. And of course, my top 10 list of G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicles that I would like to see made are as follows. Number 10, the Howl with Grand Slam. Number 9, the Ferret ATV. Number 8, Snake Armor. Number 7, Shark with Deep Six. Number 6, Flat Cannon. Number 5, the Skyhawk. Number 4, Firebat with AVAC. Number 3, the Cobra ASP. Number 2, the G.I. Joe All-Striker with Crankcase. And number 1, of course, belonging to the Cobra Fang. And that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later.